Hey everyone, welcome back to this video. In this week's video, we're going to take a look at making a lead inspired by Rufus and other melodic sort of house and techno artists. And for that, we're going to be doing it on the Novation Peak. As you know, if you've been to my channel at all, you know that I love this synth. Full disclosure, I do work for them, but I still love the flexibility and ease of use of the Peak. And the patch that we're going to make today sounds like this. Okay, so let's get into it. So first up, we're going to want to initialize the patch, and that gives us a really simple sawtooth. Next, we're going to add, let's pull down the volume just a little bit, and I'll have it playing in the background. We're going to make sure we've got all three oscillators going. And then we are also going to tune down the oscillator 1 by 1 octave. And we've got the volume full on oscillator 2 and 3 and about 3/4 for oscillator 1. So nothing too crazy going on. Next, what we want to do is thicken the sound and widen the sound. To do that, we're going to use the fine tune. So we can... You can already hear there it starts to thicken it up a bit, and then do the same for oscillator 2. And then oscillator 1 we're just going to keep in the center. Next up, we're going to start to look at the amp envelope. And I noticed that on a lot of their tracks, I mean, essentially what we're doing is creating a brass sound. They just kind of manipulate it a little bit more and write really catchy melodies to go along with it. But let's keep going. Actually, before we crack on with the amp envelope, we've already got the voicing here. So let's change this to 4 voices. You can hear there if I go back to 1. And then as I go to... thickens it up a bit more. And then we're using 4 voices just for the single note. I find that when you go to the next one and use all the voices, it can be a little bit much later on when you start to sort of write the tune. And also, I like the overlap of some of the notes. So we've got the voicing there. We can go back to the patch. Next, we'll look at the amp envelope. So we want... nice quick attack, about 3/4 on the decay, about halfway on the sustain, and then the release is going to be up about 3/4 on that one. From here, let's look at the filter and some of the effects. So let's add some overdrive and distortion. You can really hear there when I add that distortion. Really beefs up the sound a lot. Next, we're going to look at the filter. So let's pull the filter all the way down. And then let's start to add the envelope depth. Pull it up a little bit on the cutoff frequency. And now we're going to use the mod envelope to automatically adjust that filter envelope. The filter envelope depth, that is. So we want nice quick attack. Go up about 3/4 on the decay. and then sustain just over halfway, and then again with the release we want it up around 3/4. Now you can hear it starting to get there. One thing that I did forget on the oscillator front is the noise. I notice that there's a lot of tutorials online and they're really good, but I think the one bit they're missing is the grit from it. So let's go to the noise. Pull up the volume a little bit. Let's go with another little part that we've got written here. And you can hear that it's like super weighty in the low end. Now, that patch sounds awesome to me, and you can utilize those bits in some of your own productions, but I found that also using the onboard effects is where this really comes alive. Not going to utilize anything within the recording software. Let's just bring up the reverb on a device and see how that sounds. Pull down the filter a little bit. That just makes the whole patch come alive with that effect there. Next, let's look at some variations. I had a good play around with this, and I found that another cool way to use this patch is to pull down the noise and then pull the frequency down all the way. And I've just got like another little pattern here. Pull down the volume just a little bit. And instead of having the attack super sharp there, we're gonna pull the attack up a little bit on the mod envelope, so we get that more of a traditional brass sound. So we'll go for about just under halfway. The other thing we can do is bring up oscillator 1 from being 1 octave lower. And now we have more of a lead sound. Start to bring in some of the delay. So there you go, super quick one this week, but here's a way that you can make some super simple brass sounds with the Novation Peak to sort of emulate and get you in the ballpark of someone like Rufus the Soul and whatnot. Again, all of these techniques can be used in other software synths, just as long as you have 3 oscillators, you have another noise oscillator on top, and some good amp envelope, mod envelopes, and frequency. Also helps if you have a good reverb you can use a built-in one to your recording software, and then obviously a little bit of overdrive and distortion to really beef up the sound. So hopefully you've got something out of today's video, and if you'd like to see any more, just leave a comment below, and until next time, see you later.